When Alberto Escobar drives his truck at night, he always checks who's in the car behind him.
Y obviamente yo he sufrido 3 asaltos, disparos de por medio, y el último me secuestraron y me fueron a abandonar a unas minas.
It's not Escobar that the gangs are after. What they want is his cargo, and he says they'll do whatever it takes to get it.
Y me percaté de que venía un carro atrás de mí, pero con estrobos como si fueran ministeriales, como si fuera policía. Y cuando me paré, se bajaron 2 tipos con armas largas. Cuando me bajaron, me dijeron, no, pues ya te la sabes, ¿a qué venimos? No digas nada y no te va a pasar nada.
Escobar isn't transporting drugs, guns, or gold. He's carrying medical-grade oxygen tanks used to help keep the sickest COVID-19 patients alive.
El oxígeno hoy en día es oro molido para la delincuencia. Ahorita en menos de un mes se han robado aproximadamente 8 camiones cargados de oxígeno.
A nationwide shortage and skyrocketing demand means that these tanks are selling for triple the price on the black market. That makes delivery drivers like Escobar a prime target for criminal gangs.
Sí existe siempre ese miedo de que te vuelvan a abordar y que te maten y te dejen por ahí tirados, porque muchos casos han pasado, muchos.
Mexico is in the grips of a lethal second wave of the pandemic. Now has the 3rd highest number of fatalities in the world. In February alone, almost 28,000 people died here. Cases are so overwhelming that the country is running out of oxygen tanks.
Hola, ma. ¿Cómo estás? Qué bueno, ma. Ya llegamos. Sí. Ya trajimos el tanque y están rellenos.
61-year-old Maria Felix Apongo is lucky to have these few canisters. They're her only lifeline. The struggle now is keeping them filled.
Pero sí es muy duro. Duro y carísimo.
Apongo tested positive in January while she was caring for her mother, who was also sick with COVID-19. Her mother died a month ago. Now, her children are looking after her as she fights for her own life.
Comenzamos. Respiramos 2 segundos, mantenemos. Mantenemos 1, 2, 3, 4, sacamos, descansamos.
Apongo needs at least 16 small and large oxygen tanks per week to help her breathe. She should be in a hospital, but they're already overwhelmed. And like many Mexicans, Apongo's family is worried that once she's admitted, she might never return.
Al menos aquí tiene 4 personas que de verdad mi mamá tenía la atención completa de lo que requirieran.
En la parte de atrás o enfrente.
Ahí donde está tu mano en el reloj.
Sí.
Nos ha costado sudor, llanto, económicamente también. Se vuelve una constante el tener que estar yéndote a formar a cada rato por tanques, mañana, tarde y noche. Nosotros lo hemos visto, o sea, hay gente que de verdad sufre hasta para conseguir un tanque de oxígeno chico, rellenarlo, pero porque no tienen ese poder adquisitivo.
Many Mexicans don't trust doctors, so they're opting to stay home with their families. In the first 3 weeks of January, the demand for at-home oxygen jumped 700%. Desperate relatives like Carlos Pineda often have to wait in line for up to 8 hours to refill their tanks.
Al día rellenamos dos tanques de estos chiquitos y cada tercer día el grande. Entonces es bastante costoso, la verdad.
Pineda has already spent over $5,000 on oxygen tanks and refills for his mother and grandmother. Others in need of tanks have been forced to turn to the black market.
Un día mi primo ya se puso muy malito entre sus hermanos y encontré un anuncio de un cliente que tengo diciendo que él vendía un concentrador de oxígeno.
Maribel Mendoza Alvarez says she paid $600 more than it normally costs for the device, which is supposed to convert air into medical-grade oxygen. She was desperate, but the concentrator she bought almost killed her cousin.
No sirvió, a fin de cuentas, el concentrador en vez de levantar a mi primo, lo dejó que cayera más, al grado que tuvimos que estar de madrugada buscando otra vez oxígeno. Yo no me imaginaba buscar oxígeno. No quiero volver a pasar por una situación así.
Mendoza Alvarez is not the only one who's been scammed. Online, there are thousands of posts advertising canisters. Many of them are fake or stolen.
Hay gente que ha depositado dinero y no le ha llegado nada. Hay gente que se queda de ver en algún lugar con las personas y los asaltan y les pegan. O sea, hay muchas historias desgarradoras así de este tipo.
One by one, Mendoza Alvarez has watched 9 members of her family die from or get sick with COVID. She says she has to find oxygen tanks, even at the risk of getting scammed.
Mis padres se enfermaron y mi hermana se enfermó. Los cuidé porque los amo. Y lo volvería a hacer. Yo creo que el gobierno ha tratado la pandemia en México como un juego. Porque si no me explico, o sea, ¿por qué no hay ayudas?
The government has asked their cybersecurity unit to investigate cases of online oxygen fraud.
Every day we're checking all these people that are trying to put up frauds and false pages, and that we're taking them out. That's why there's so many thousands of them already out. And they try it again the next day, but we're there the next day also.
But when we asked the officers what was happening to the alleged scammers, they didn't know. Neither did the Attorney General's office. They could only tell us that they have around 40 open investigations.
Agradecemos tu colaboración con esta campaña de vacunación.
With the release of the vaccine, Mexico has already seen multiple thefts of the highly sought-after shot. It's gotten so bad that the Army has taken charge of transporting and guarding the vaccines. Apongo still hasn't come to terms with the loss of her mother. The only thing her children are focused on is keeping her alive.
No le hemos permitido y ni ella se ha dado ese tiempo para sufrirlo. Ya habrá su momento en que mi mamá pueda, pues digamos, ir a sentir esa pérdida, pero en este momento ella sabe que no es el momento, que tiene que estar concentrada en ella.
Era muy buena mi madre. Alegre. Chistosa a veces. Y hablaba yo con ella por teléfono. Ella también me decía 3 veces, bye, bye. Y al último le decía yo, adiós. Y ella también me decía, adiós. Ahora ya no tengo a quien decirse. ¿Cómo no me la dejó Diosito? Un poquito más para que me la vacunara.
When you don't know what oxygen is, when you're like a normal person, it is something new to you. So there's like industrial oxygen, medical oxygen, there are tanks, there are concentrators, there are many types of liters like per minute. How many does your patient need? Would a small tank fit, maybe a big tank? And it's a lot of information and you have to find it right now and you know which places are like safe. So I have the idea of this web page where you can find the information easily with stores that are safe and that have the information. It's a very good help.
Naoli Garcia Galvez decided to launch this website after learning that patients at her parents' practice were having trouble finding a legitimate source to buy and refill oxygen tanks.
We come in close contact with patients who ask us, do you know where I can find oxygen? And there are in media these long lists where there are like around 80 places. There's only the name and the number, but you don't know which places do have oxygen and which don't have oxygen.
Listing and vetting legitimate sources quickly became an overwhelming task, so she put out a call for help on Facebook and got dozens of responses.
I asked for people to help me do the webpage and also to volunteer with me to do calls to the places to know every day how is the availability of oxygen. The mean age of the team is around 21 and 25 years old. I mean, we are mainly young people. It's all a non-profit organization which works through volunteering. We do not get money from no source. We all work by ourselves and by our will to help other people.
At a time when even doctors and hospitals can't find reliable sources for oxygen tanks and refills, Oxygeno CDMX has quickly become the trusted resource for sick patients and their relatives.
A friend was looking for oxygen for her relatives. I mean, even though she was in med school, she didn't know where to find the oxygen. And she was like really stressed about that. And another friend from the faculty told her, oh, you can find it over here. She said, like, thank you so much. I mean, it was a very good help for me. I could find the oxygen for my family member easily, and it took a lot of stress from me. Thank you so much. I think that was a good story for me. I mean, I know we help people, but having the story in close contact to me, that was very nice and sweet.